The story begins in a city that believed itself safe. Houston, Texas. Hot pavement, slow afternoons, neon lights flickering outside corner stores, the quiet hum of air conditioners fighting the southern heat. Hello friends, welcome back to the true story on our channel, Crime Chronicles US, where America's unsolved mysteries, vanished criminals, and chilling cases come alive. Every story is real, every detail matters, and the truth remains buried in the shadows. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay updated with every mystery. A city that carried secrets under its skin, secrets that no one wanted to believe. In the early 1970s, young boys rode bikes through neighborhoods where everyone knew everyone, where a friendly smile and a piece of candy could still feel innocent. No one imagined that evil could wear the face of a neighbor, that darkness could live behind a door just down the street. No one imagined the name that would later be whispered in courtrooms, printed in newspapers, and burned into American criminal history. Dean Corll, the Candyman. He didn't look like a monster. That's how most stories like this begin. A quiet man, polite, helpful, the kind of person who handed out sweets to children and fixed small machines in a modest house on Lamar Drive. People waved when they passed him. Kids stopped by after school. Parents didn't worry. Why would they? Danger was supposed to look dangerous, but sometimes danger wears ordinary clothes, speaks softly, and offers kindness as camouflage. Sometimes the worst nightmares start with a door opening and a friendly invitation to come inside. At first, there were only whispers. A boy didn't come home one night. Another family filed a missing person report. A third mother sat on her porch, waiting long after midnight, staring down the street, praying to see a familiar silhouette on a bicycle. Police wrote reports, but missing teenagers in a big city didn't always trigger alarm. They assumed runaways, bad crowds, drugs, anything but the truth. Because the truth was too strange, too terrible, too impossible to imagine. The truth was that someone was taking them, and the city didn't know yet that a pattern had begun. Dean Corll lived alone, or so it seemed. He worked in the family candy business, a small operation that had once been thriving. He drove a simple van. He spoke gently, but behind the calm surface, something was fractured. His childhood had been turbulent, his father absent, his mother controlling. A mind shaped by isolation, resentment, and fantasies that never saw daylight. Some people walk through life with a storm behind their eyes, and no one notices until it's too late. He met young boys easily. He knew how to talk to them. He knew how to make them feel important, chosen, special. And in a time before social media, before constant tracking, before cell phones, disappearing was easier than anyone wanted to admit. A boy could say, "I'm going out," and simply never return. And the city would keep breathing. Cars passing under streetlights, radios playing late-night songs, while somewhere behind closed curtains, a family's world quietly collapsed. Two teenage boys, David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley, would become tangled in the story next. Friends of Corll, helpers, accomplices, young, impressionable, drawn by money, attention, and the thrill of being trusted by an older man who seemed to understand them. At first, they didn't see the full picture, or maybe they didn't want to. Denial is a powerful drug. When the unthinkable first appears, the mind tries to label it as a mistake, a misunderstanding, anything other than what it truly is. Summer nights stretched long. Houston humidity wrapped around streetlights. Laughter echoed from houses where parents thought their sons were safe inside a friend's home. And somewhere, doors closed, curtains were drawn, and the line between normal life and hidden horror grew thinner with every passing week. By 1973, the missing persons list was no longer coincidence. Families gathered. Flyers were posted. Faces stared from black and white photocopies taped to store windows and telephone poles. The city started to feel uneasy, though no one knew where to point the fear. Police worked leads that went nowhere. Tips dried up, and the Candyman continued to walk free, blending into the everyday world like a shadow that only appeared when the light hit just right. There is something hypnotic about how evil can slowly tighten its grip. It doesn't announce itself. It creeps. It waits. It grows bold when it realizes no one is looking. And by the time people begin to suspect, the damage is already deep, the trail already long. Inside Corll's home, behind ordinary walls, the atmosphere was different. A house can hold memories, sounds, and secrets. Some houses feel warm. Others feel wrong, even if you don't know why. Visitors might have felt a chill without understanding it, a sense that they shouldn't stay too long. But children trust adults. Society teaches them to, and predators exploit that trust with precision. As the months passed, Corll's control over his young accomplices grew. He paid them. He praised them. He made them feel like partners in something secret and powerful. Secrets are intoxicating to teenagers. The world feels dull. A hidden mission feels exciting. Until it isn't. Until the weight of what they were part of began to press against their minds in quiet moments when they tried to sleep. Meanwhile, parents organized search parties. They knocked on doors. They walked neighborhoods, calling their sons' names into empty streets. They went to police stations again and again, begging for more attention, more urgency, more hope. But answers didn't come, and every day without answers felt like a slow drowning. The summer of 1973 would become the turning point, a night when fear met desperation. A night when one of the boys who had helped lure others into Corll's house finally saw the end of the road approaching and chose survival over silence. A night when a gun would be lifted, a shot would be fired, and a story hidden in shadows would explode into the daylight. But that moment, that final confrontation, belongs to the second half of this tale. Because before the fall, we must understand the climb. How an ordinary man built a secret empire of terror. How a city looked away without realizing it. How innocence was traded for trust. And how the monster of Houston lived quietly among them all. The air was thick. The city slept. And the Candyman waited. The night everything changed did not begin with sirens or warnings. It began like so many others, with teenagers drifting through Houston's warm darkness, music playing from car radios, laughter filling the air, the sense that youth itself was protection enough. Elmer Wayne Henley sat beside Dean Corll, unaware that this night would draw a line through his life that could never be erased. Another boy was brought to the house, another door closed, another step taken down a hallway that had swallowed too many footsteps already. But something was different this time. The weight of all the previous nights had gathered inside Henley's chest, Every whispered promise Corll had made, every justification, every dollar handed over, every moment he had tried not to think too hard about what was happening. Fear and guilt tangled together until they became something sharp, something dangerous. Corll moved as he always did, confident, certain, in control. He believed he owned the night, the house, the boys, the silence. He believed no one would ever stop him. Then the moment arrived. A struggle, a rush of terror, a decision made in a fraction of a second that would rewrite history. Henley grabbed a gun. Corll turned. Surprise flashed across his face, just long enough to be remembered forever. A shot rang out inside the small Houston home. The Candyman fell. The rain ended, not with confession or capture, but with sudden, irreversible finality. Henley ran into the night. He flagged down a passing car. He told strangers the impossible story they could barely believe. Police arrived. They entered the house expecting confusion, maybe a misunderstanding. Instead, they found a nightmare unfolding in real time. What had been rumor and suspicion suddenly became undeniable reality. In the days that followed, investigators dug into the ground behind Corll's home and other locations connected to him. Houston watched as news crews gathered, as reporters spoke in hushed voices, as families stood behind police tape with trembling hands. One by one, truths emerged. Names, faces, sons, brothers, friends, boys who had vanished years before, now found in the worst way possible. The city that once believed itself safe now faced the unbearable truth that the danger had lived quietly among them the whole time. Parents cried on television. Fathers stared into cameras, unable to speak. Mothers clutched photographs, worn soft at the edges, from years of desperate hope. Some families finally had answers. Others had only grief. The list of victims grew longer. The shockwaves traveled far beyond Houston, into every American home that watched the evening news and wondered how something so horrific could happen without anyone knowing sooner. Henley and Brooks stood trial. The courtroom filled with heavy silence. Jurors listened. Journalists scribbled. The public tried to understand how teenage boys could become part of such darkness. Were they victims too, or willing participants? The law decided their fate, but the question lingered in the minds of everyone who followed the case. Evil, it turned out, was not always a single man. Sometimes it was a chain, each link feeding the next. Dean Corll never stood trial. He never explained himself. He never apologized. He left behind only questions, theories, and the unbearable awareness that some people carry storms inside them that never show on the surface. Psychologists debated. Investigators reviewed every clue. But motive never fully explained the magnitude of what he had done. Some mysteries remain, not because answers don't exist, but because the human mind refuses to accept them. Years passed. Houses were sold. Streets changed. New families moved into neighborhoods that once whispered his name with fear. Children grew up who had never heard of the Candyman. Yet the story never disappeared. It became part of American criminal history, part of cautionary tales. Part of the reason parents hold their children a little closer and check locks a little more carefully. Because this story is not only about one man, it is about trust, about how easy it is to believe danger looks obvious, about how silence can allow darkness to grow, about how the people we pass on the street, the neighbors who wave, the friendly faces who offer kindness, are not always what they seem. It is a reminder that evil does not always arrive with warning. Sometimes it walks through the front door carrying candy. In the end, Houston healed. Families found ways to live with loss. Some turned pain into advocacy. Some left the city behind. Some never spoke of it again. Time moved forward, as it always does. But beneath the flow of years, the lesson remained carved into memory. Pay attention, ask questions, trust instincts, and never assume you know who someone truly is. And somewhere in the quiet corners of American history, the name Dean Corll still echoes. Not as a legend, not as a myth, but as a reminder that the greatest monsters are often the ones who look the most ordinary. The night grows still, the story settles, and the warning lingers long after the last word is spoken. So friends, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Crime Chronicles US for more chilling unsolved mysteries from across America. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.